Is it Lynn?
Yeah. Don't want to go on her own.
Okay, that's fine. Honestly, you don't have to come on your own. Lynn and Elaine are going to come and share with us. So if you can welcome Lynn and Elaine, please. Okay, so let me tell you something now. Yeah, it's not easy standing up here. And when I say share, you're sharing and you're bearing your soul to people you don't know. So I want the warmth, I want the love to be shown. And the respects, most importantly, as in, you know, quiet whilst Lynn's sharing. We've not even met before. Have we? We haven't met before, we've kind of spoken. So I'm going to kind of stay here because I ain't got anything else to do. And you just tell me if you want me to go and sit down. I know.
Okay. Hi. I'm here to talk about domestic violence. I was a victim of domestic violence for over 25 years. Started off with controlling behaviour that I didn't see as abuse, but looking back I know now it was, leading to extreme violence, rape, attempted murder. I won't go into all the details, but the final catalyst was one evening. He would have killed me. He was strangling me, but by some, I thought he was going to save me. A police officer. We lived in a down a dip. He was strangling me in the upstairs bedroom against the wall, and a police officer had walked across the top and witnessed it. Next thing I know, the front door's getting battered in, police are coming up the stairs, they took him away, and I thought, this is it now. I'd asked for help many times over the years, no one ever believed me. Even with black eyes, the police still said, you know, what did you do to provoke him? What did you say? What did you do? He then got taken away. I said, the police officer said, can you make a statement? I said, no, I can't make a statement. Can you guarantee me that you won't let him out? Because after years of not trusting them letting him out, and them letting him back, I thought, no, they're going to finally take him away. And I wouldn't make a statement. I'm still too scared. 3 hours later, he was home. So that is where I'm not a stupid person. People have a stereotype of domestic violence victims. I was an accountant, I had a good job. I started stealing money. One, to give him, but two, my crime was blatant. I wanted to get locked up, I wanted to be taken away. Prison, I thought if I get locked up, he can't get to me, he can't, you know. It was that, or do something worse. I picked up a knife on more than one occasion. I don't know if anyone saw in the news last week, a lady called Shelley Titmus, who's just overturned her. She was my friend in prison. We had many chats, and I know just by chance, yeah, I stole money, I went to prison. I could have been serving 25 years, because many times I picked up a knife, and it could so easily, I could be in there now serving a life sentence. All I want to say is that I went to prison, and I'm not going to say it's the best thing happened, but prison became where I wanted to be. I went back 3 times. And I'll tell you why. I got released from prison, back to the same address. Probation said it was dangerous. The prison service said we have no other choice but to release you to that address. You own half the house. While you own a house, we can't refer you to anywhere else. You've got your own house, you must go back to your own house. You own it. Well, the day I got released from prison on the last occasion, well, the second but last, I went straight to probation. I said, you know, I can't go to that address. Well, then you have to go back to prison. I said, well, I'll go back to prison. Prison was, for me, safe. And I just want people to know that prison shouldn't be the only safe place. You know, you shouldn't have to commit crime to get away. And I'll tell you what's worse. I went to court, and my defence team used my abuse as my defence. And on the screen in the court was old evidence of medical records. I had over 50 old fractures in my body And the police officer, one of the police officers, stood up and still tried to deny that I'd gone through any form of abuse. And the judge actually said to him, either shut up or get out. I still live with it day by day. I will. You know, I go to Luton now and I see someone, I think it's him. I'll live with it forever, I know that. But I want to say on a good note, on my last sentence, I finally got a very good caseworker, and they referred me to Mary Seacole. 2 staff came to see me in prison, at which point I was really angry because I've served prison time. He has only ever served 1 night in a police cell, and he's still out there. It's like there's women out there, he could do it again to someone else. They came to see me in prison, they referred me, and I was very angry because I was in prison. Yeah, and I've got convictions now. He hasn't got any convictions for anything. He's got a clean record, yeah? So in their eyes, I have to move area. I'm not the victim, I'm the criminal. So I had to move to Luton, and I was angry because why have I got to move? I didn't know anyone in Luton. But you know what? It's the best thing I've ever done.
You do now?
Yeah, it's the best thing I've ever done. In prison, it's not good. No, it's not good. But I trained with the Samaritans. I worked in reception. I saw every girl that came into that prison and every girl that went home. And I recognise it in so many young girls. Young girls that I once was, and they're now going through the same thing. So now I'm working in Mary Seacole as a volunteer, and I want to work with young people, because not just young girls, young boys as well. But I've met so many young girls and they don't even reckon I didn't. And I said, that's abuse. No, it's not abuse, it is abuse. And I try and tell them, you don't want to go where I went. Because I could have, I did do prison, but I could have been serving very easily, I know, a life sentence. I know I could have done. I just want to make people know that there's not help out there. There's not as much help. When people, the government say domestic violence is now high profile, there's all this help out there, there is no help. Even to this day now, I only came out of prison just over a year ago. The help is not out there. You're still not believed. I've given many talks at the prison, and I say you've got to keep talking and keep begging and keep going and keep going. But in prison, there's a lot of women in my boat are serving life sentences after years and years and years of abuse. You're not. I had black eyes. I've had broken bones. And still no one believed me. No. I just want people to listen and know that. Also, don't stereotype domestic violence victims. People have a stereotype in their head of the people that suffer it. I'm not a stupid person. I couldn't get out. I didn't recognise it. And even when he was battering me, when he told me, it won't happen again, I'm sorry, I always believed it wouldn't happen again. I just want things to change and women to be believed. And I think the whole system needs to change from the bottom to the top. There's not enough refugees, there's not enough anything. There's not enough anything.
Unless you've been there, I think as much as we empathise, we don't truly get it. And I know that one of the volunteers, she's not actually here today, but she was handing out the flyers for today's event. She was handing out the flyers, and she was handing them out at church, and this lady was just reading, some of the speakers and some of the topics, and domestic violence was on there. I'm coming. I am a victim. Diane.
Will you say one more? Lynn.
Deez, but you know what? You're not a victim, you're a victor.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Hi, and I excuse my voice before I start. I'm here not from the Ollie Foundation. I'm here because of the Ollie Foundation. Unfortunately, the woman that normally does these speeches couldn't make it today due to very personal reasons, and would have found it a little bit too uncomfortable for herself and her own mental health. So I said, no, I'll come along instead, as I'm here anyway, and do it for you. I was going to try and play a video, if that sounded right. Now, there's two parts on this video. You can find it on YouTube, so I don't know whether the sound will go. The first one is actually a group of young students that actually put a film together. As a suicide scenario, if you like. Now, the Ollie Foundation stands for One Life Lost is Enough, and it's, as you'll see if the other one will work, is one of the founders that actually speak about the charity itself. But this is something that I want to play first. It might be upsetting for some, but I'm hoping it will hit you where it needs to hit you, as it did with me. If you can hear it.
Don't do this to me. Give me one more reason why she can't. Hey, you alright, mate? You good? I'm Katie with the... I don't fancy her. I don't. Mate, I've seen you staring. To be honest, Henry, I'm not feeling great, so... Look, pop some ibuprofen now, and you'll be right as rain. It's no different to every other weekend, is it? Fine, I'll go. Thank you. You've got a great chance with Katie, by the way. You're modest, smart. Look at that beautiful jawline. Tell me that's not beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. Say I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. Exactly. You know what I talked about? Mental health. So if I can get more depressed on Monday morning. And you're not mental either. I mean, nobody wants someone like, what's that fella's name? Johnny Potts. Johnny Potts. God, don't get like that, man. What? Hey. Tell him. Don't tell him. Why would I tell him? He'll judge me. Oh, God, not you. Don't tell him.
Where's your homework? There's always an excuse for you, isn't there?
I'm sorry, I was tired.
Am I going to have to write to your parents again? Again? You're late for school because you can't be bothered to get up. You think I can just lie around instead of going to work?
Lazy, that's what you are. How can you drop out of the match? We're counting on you. I'm pathetic.
Why are you avoiding me?
I'm not.
You never wanted me though. What's going on?
It's going a little fast.
Do your parents know you're gay?
No?
Why not?
I don't want to disappoint them. Yeah, I'm fine. Just a bit tired. Tired myself. It's probably after last night. You had one pint. You're not. Just telling the truth. Yeah, but no one else here needs to know that. You watch my back, I'll watch yours. Always been that way, eh? So I'll come to yours for 6, eh? Ollie. Ollie.
So that's just one of many, many scenarios that can push someone over the edge. You never know. With the Ollie Foundation, as it stands for One Life Lost is Enough, it was set up by a group of parents. No. I'm trying to do this and talk, it's not going to work.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help.
It was set up by a group of parents that had lost their children to suicide. They go to a support group and they decide that they want to make a change. They've got the help that they need, but they want to go further. Now this is just one of the those parents talking about the charity itself.
I go to a survivors group. There's a group called SOS, which is survivors of bereavement by suicide, where other people go who have lost family members to suicide. And I just said to three of us were thinking, we could sit back and carry on our life in exactly the same way as we've done before. So I work for myself. So I sit at my desk in my office and I work. And I could just carry on my life in exactly the same way as what happened before. But what sort of person would that make me then if I didn't try and do something to make a difference? And I think that's why the Oddie Foundation then started to take shape. So we looked into it. There's a Canadian company called Living Works. They provide assist training, which is applied suicide intervention skills training. They're the world leaders in suicide prevention training. They will train teachers what to spot out, what signs can you look out for, so that you can intervene and ask those questions. So we realised that if we raised some funds, then we could provide this free training for secondary schools. In fact, anybody that works with young people, it could be a youth worker, it could be charities that work with young people, sports clubs, we would be offering free training to anybody that wants that training so they can spot the signs. There are three trustees of the charity who have all lost our children. We put the word out and said to our contacts, who wants to come and be part of a charity? Let's just see if there's a will out there to try and do something. And about 10 or 15 people put their hands up and said, yeah, we'd like to do something. One of the things is that when we tried to find an assist trainer to actually deliver the training, we realised that there actually wasn't one in St Albans or Watford. There wasn't actually anybody local that we could tap into to come and deliver that training. So we thought, well, why don't we just train our own trainer? Why don't we have someone in St Albans who will be responsible for the delivery of this training, rather than trying to outsource it to someone else in the country? And so on the back of that, we thought, well, if that's the case, we may as well set up our own charity. So the Oddie Foundation is one life lost is enough. The first aim is to raise the funds in order to deliver the training to teachers, youth workers, etc. And the second aim is to train the trainer, so that the Oddie Foundation has its own assist trainers who will then be affiliated to the charity. They can go and deliver the training across the whole of St Albans, Watford, in fact the whole of the county. That's our aim. So we've got a number of charitable events that are in the pipeline. They're all geared up to raising those funds to deliver those two aims and hopefully make St Albans and Watford and the counties of Hertfordshire a safer place for kids, because no parents should really go through what we have. That's the plan.
And he did that plan, and they've done that plan even bigger and better. As we know, we're in Luton, in Bedfordshire. I was lucky, and there's about 4 or 5 of us that have actually gone over to Hertfordshire and done our training. So I've done the first course that they do, which is just suicide awareness. So if you see someone in the street, you've got a work colleague, you kind of get to know, you think that something's not right, and how now do I open up a conversation? From then, I then took the next course, which is what he's calling then the assist. So it was a full day weekend, full 2-day weekend even, in which you go into it a little bit more in depth. So it could be someone that I know, someone, a work colleague, someone that you're worried about. I've done the training, can you just speak to this person for me? And it is saving lives, but I'm not taking over your life. What I want to do is to be the signpost for you that can help you get the help that you need when you're in that crisis. It doesn't have to be that you've got a mental health issue and it's an ongoing thing and everything else. Anyone can have a crisis. The person you think is the happiest person in the room could be having a crisis. I will put my hand up. I had a crisis. I never went to the point of actually doing anything. I thought, what is the point of me being here? I wanted to not end my life, I wanted to end the pain. That's one of the things that you then learn. Some people just don't want to end their life, they just want to end the pain itself, and they can't see another way out. What we're doing, and me taking on my training, is that I'm now giving you another lifeline to find a different way. And you're promising me that you're going to stay safe for now. I'm not saying that you'll come to me and I can make it all better and you'll just go away and live a happy life. each day as it comes. You might have to revisit your list, you might have to do different things, but with the training, I now feel confident enough that I could step in that situation. The reason why I ended up finding Ollie is I had various things happening in my family, in which it came to people trying to take their life, and there's other times where they have actually completed suicide. One of those being a young girl who was 13, my cousin's little girl, and I promised I'd say her name, Mia. I want you to all remember Mia. She was bullied at school, she had been catfished, she'd been all sorts, and just couldn't find a way out. So my mission is my Mia mission, which is why I found this charity. And I'll keep saying her name because it keeps her alive. If she couldn't find the way, I'm going to find a way for someone else. Now, you will see, you heard in the video, it said about Stevenage, Watford, everything else. We're in Luton. I don't know whether you knew that the Ollie Foundation was the Males Charity of the Year last year. No? Did you see them in the sound? They have ring-fenced the money from the Luton Mail for Luton people and Bedfordshire people. And what they're doing, which is why Verity, I'm taking a thunder, I'm taking a thunder. She's going to kill me for that. She and the charity have worked it out. You can sign up for information, you will get the courses free. You will get to learn how to save a life for free. You will then share your message with every one of your friends for free. There are the two different courses which could, if you was to approach the charity separately, could cost you over £150, I think it is. They're offering it to you for free. They know what they've got is a good product and they want a suicide-safer community for everyone. So they're expanding from when you saw there in 2016, and for him now to then say, we're now going into Luton, we're going into Bedford, we're going into St Albans, we're going in all these other places that never thought that their 3 children could actually then progress through to their charity being as big as it is. And I will talk about Ollie Foundation for months because I love it. I found it purely just because I wanted to make a difference, and it stuck with me, and I think I'm stuck with them.
Well done. I think. Yeah. Shelley's got all that information if anybody wants to know more about the organisation Ollie. What does Ollie stand for? One life lost is enough. Okay. 6 months ago, stay here. We're tight for time, guys. We're tight for time. But some things we're going to share. So 6 months ago, we were here. International Men's Day. Some of you were here. And very good event, well attended. And there was a young man called Mortimer Barnett. You guys remember? Okay, if you're on social media, you would have seen my posts that I've shared. And on the 11th of February this year, Mortimer passed away. Okay, aged 22. Now, his speech was powerful and he kept it real. Okay, he kept it very real. And I believe you said that was one of the triggers for you to then go and find the Ollie Foundation.
6 months before the International Men's Day, that's when we lost Mia, and I was trying to find something, but I didn't know what. Mortimer came up and spoke, and I sat there, and it was, no, I've got to do something. So in the 2 weeks after Mortimer spoke, that's when I found the Ollie Foundation. I had the inkling. Mia was my catalyst. Mortimer was the one that gave me the spark and gave me the determination that no, enough is enough. You need to make a difference.
Okay, thank you, Sue. You're thinking like, OMG, is this not like a roller coaster today? I told you, you thought I was lying. We are going to keep it real. It's going to get realer. You're thinking, how can it? It will. We are now going to welcome up Elizabeth Bailey. This is my sister. I'm Dee Bailey. This is Elizabeth Bailey. She's my mum, actually. Mum's over there. Okay. Okay, so, yeah, I'm going to hand over to Liz.
All right. Can you hear me? Right. I just have to follow two absolutely extraordinary women, which with something that's, in a way, it's a lot more ordinary, but it's something ordinary that can save your life, so I hope you're going to listen. I'm here today, my name's Elizabeth Bailey, as Dee said. I work for Luton Borough Council's public health team, and I'm also an ambassador for the charity Cancer Research UK. So both as a job and as a passion, really, I like to go out and talk to people about cancer. I do this because I'm a cancer survivor myself. I won't show you much more. I could do. I'm actually, I'm a Lutonian by adoption. I moved here in 2005, and I agree with everybody who says it was the best thing I ever did. So, I live in Round Green. I've got 2 daughters, and I'm really interested and concerned about women's health and what my daughters and your nieces and your mums can do to protect themselves. I'll just talk to you, before I go on to just talking a little bit about my own experience, have you all seen the adverts for the cervical cancer? It's brilliant. I've been standing outside with a little pile of satsumas and a few post-it notes, and I've been asking ladies, do you go for your screening? And more or less everyone so far has said they do, which is really good news for me, because actually the stats show something different. So around here you've got good habits, which is really impressive. But we'll talk a little bit about the barriers some women have to going for the screening. I'm hoping you will all go out today, and as well as talking about all the fantastic things you've heard about, the inspirational stories, you will remind your daughters, nieces, aunts, whatever, to take up the screening appointments. The importance of women's cancer screening, and 2 of the national cancer screening programmes are for women. They're the breast screening programme and the cervical screening programme. They save lives. They result in early diagnoses and better treatments. The thing about cervical cancer is it's pretty much, it's about 90% preventable. Most cases are caused by the HPV virus. And when your daughters, you probably know, when your daughters are in around year 8 at school, they'll be offered this vaccine. They really should have it. There's a lot of moves at the moment to get boys to have it as well, because practically speaking, it's the men who carry it. But as it's the women who suffer the main type of cancer caused by it, they're best advised to have this vaccine. So the point of the screening programme, I think you all know, you'll be familiar, if you're registered with the GP, you'll get your call-up papers, won't you, from age 25. So it's 25 to 49 every 3 years. Over 50, you get it every 5 years, up to 64. And then after that, you will only do it if you get symptoms. You will only get screened if you get symptoms. So if you're in those age groups and you're not getting letters, you really need to check with your GP, because they come from a national database. You'll get 3 reminders. And I've only had one lady I spoke to who said she's been avoiding doing her test. She's been getting the letters. And she said to me marvellously, my husband is on my case. So hopefully, you know, the rest of us have male partners, those partners, or any male or female partners, they're on your case about doing this. So just a little bit about my own experience. I actually had breast cancer, not cervical cancer. I found the lump myself between screenings. So, no, it wasn't between screenings. In fact, I hadn't. No, sorry, that's incorrect. I was diagnosed 2 years before I entered the formal screening programme. So that happens. You go. It starts at about 47. So people start getting called for screening from about 50. And I was diagnosed at 45, and I found a lump in my breast. After a really busy year at work, I was just lying in bed, and I went like this, and I found a lump. And I went to my doctor, who's Nazrin Razak in Buse House, some of you may know, and she said, probably a cyst, something like that. But let's just double check it. Let's send you to the hospital just in case. So at this point, my daughters were 3 and 5 years old. And I went to Lucy, went to the breast screening clinic, and I had somebody say to me, we found something that shouldn't be there. So I went into the car park, sat in my car, and just cried bitter tears. Because I didn't think my daughters I wouldn't see them grow up. That's what so many people say. So that's my reason for being a personal advocate for cancer screening. The main tests, breast, cervical and bowel screening, they're quite intrusive tests, and a lot of you, like me, find them a bit uncomfortable and maybe a bit embarrassing. But I'm telling you, cancer treatment itself is a lot more intrusive. I lost my breast, I lost my hair. I endured 9 months of 4 lots of surgery, chemotherapy and radiotherapy. Really, a lot of you can avoid that by making sure you take up your screening. So I'm actually here today, and I won't go on and on because I know Dee's got a tight timetable. I'm here to say that happened 9 years ago last month. I was diagnosed in February 2010. I'm here to tell the tale because I was diagnosed just in time and I was screened. So I just want to stand here as a personal advocate, as a Luton, a Lutonian, a mum, and a mother of daughters. I just want to say to you, do it. Don't be embarrassed, don't be scared, just get it out of the way and do it.
First of all, thank you, Dee, for inviting me here today. It's a pleasure to be here and just listen to everyone's stories about how they triumphed over their challenges. So just to give you a bit of background about myself, I graduated from uni in 2014 with a law degree, and I was working as a legal assistant for quite a few years, and I think it was 2016 I realised that I wasn't quite enjoying it, and I just felt really lost, and I didn't really know what to do because my parents had told everyone in the family that I was going to be the lawyer, that they should come to me if they had any help. So I didn't want to crush their dreams, so I just didn't know what to do about these feelings. So at the same time, I was heartbroken as well, and for me that was the biggest adversity I'd faced growing up, because it was my first heartbreak and it was really painful. So I just felt really lost, and I was feeling really insecure about everything in my life. And I'm quite a quiet person, so I didn't go to anybody, and that wasn't really an option for me. So I just prayed about it, and for some reason I was led to picking up a paper and a pen, and I just started to write. I poured my pain out onto paper, and I wrote to empower myself. And some way down the line, I thought, I'm going to post my words on social media for others. So I created an anonymous account. I didn't tell anybody that I'd created this account. I didn't tell my family or my friends, no one at all. And I just started to post my words, and I realised how many people were able to relate to them, and that really touched me. And I remember when I received a message from somebody saying, you saved me. And for me, that was the biggest reward I'd ever received in my life, way bigger than my law degree. For me, that was an achievement bigger than my law degree and bigger than anything. So that's when I decided I wanted to take it seriously. So I collated all that I had written when I was feeling like this into a book. This is the book here. It's called Walk with Wings. I'm a big fan of butterflies. I love what they represent, growth and just resilience. So that's what the book is about. It explores themes of growth, resilience, self-love and freedom. So it's about my personal journey, and I'm going to share some pieces with you today. The first piece is called Own Who You Are. Never allow anyone to determine how much of a beautiful woman you are by the features on your face, the shade of your skin, or the size of your body. You don't need anyone's approval to feel good about the way you look. You determine how much of a beautiful woman you are. Make your heart the most beautiful feature you carry, because outer beauty is only skin deep. This second piece is called I Deserve. I wrote this as a sort of mantra to myself. So it goes like this. I deserve to be loved. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be appreciated and treated with respect. I am tired of fighting my depression over you. I am tired of settling for what I don't deserve. I am done with treading on broken glass. I give up on tolerating less than my worth. Now I'm dropping anyone who disturbs my peace, and I'm blocking anyone who makes me feel unwanted. I am slashing my way out of toxic relationships and asserting my dignity and pride. For I am saving all my love for someone who proves that they're loyal and down to right. The third poem is a poem about my hair. I know some of you have heard this poem over and over again, but for me it's so important to me because I've had such an on and off relationship with my hair, and I remember this was birthed when I was on my way home from work. I was on the bus and I really needed the toilet, so when I got off the bus I literally ran to the nearest McDonald's and used the toilet. And when I was on my way out, as I was washing my hands, I looked up in the mirror above me, and in that moment I just felt really ugly because my hair was such a mess. I was wearing a wig at the time and it just made me feel really down about my hair. So on my way out I was reflecting on my hair and I just wrote this piece, like it literally came out of nowhere. It's called A Letter to My Natural Hair. I'm sorry I neglected you, abused and abandoned you. Permed from an age so young, I can't even remember the first time that stick full of toxins touched and ruined you. I was taught straight, soft hair was the only style of beauty. So with my relaxer and straighteners, I continued to destroy you. For all these years, I believed long, thick hair could only be hereditary. I wear extensions, weaves, and wigs to hide the real you. I am embarrassed of you. I am sorry I took no care of you. I knew no better. But I now know better. For I am learning to accept you, care for, and nourish you. I know I still do not show you. I am working on my love for you. preparing for the day that I will flaunt and cherish you.